for this edition of the special interview on My Media Prime. Our guest today is Marcellus Mbameng. He is the Managing Director of Globus Education Systems, which is an education consultancy firm. He is our guest today in the program, the special interview. Mr. Managing Director Marcellus Mbameng, thank you so much for accepting My Media Prime in your office.
Thank you so much, Elvis, for coming.
Mr. Managing Director, you've been so involved in education, the promotion of education of recent. Can you present to us your education consultancy firm, Globus Education Systems?
Yes, Globus Education Systems is a company that has been in operation for the past 3 to 4 years, and we represent over 1,000 universities in 16 different countries. So all what we do is assist students who want to study into our partner universities in more than 1,000 universities that we represent.
So can you understand why you decided to, to be involved in advising students on studying abroad? What is your drive?
Yes, obviously, in my previous career, I worked as a sales director for a multinational company for Africa and the Middle East. So I spent a lot of time traveling. And within this period, I realized that the continent was lacking in terms of education, whereby we needed students that could drive the economy to another level. So at some point I said, no, let me go back and encourage our children to go to study in other countries that have more advanced technology, so that they can study and come back and bring back this technology into our country. So that's why I started Globus Education Systems.
So for how long have you been managing Globus Education Systems? Can you say there have been some achievements so far?
Yes, we have been in business, as I said earlier on, for about 3 to 4 years, and within this period we've succeeded in assisting more than 1,500 students who have traveled out of the continent, and we've done counseling for more than 20,000 students so far within the continent.
Every day, Mr. Managing Director, we receive complaints, as the media we receive complaints from students across Africa, complaining most of the time that some of them wanted to travel abroad and they were scammed online, they paid money to an agent, and finally they could not travel abroad. Can you give them advice on how to choose the right education consulting firm for their travel?
Yes, the first thing about education consultancy is that it is a field that is regulated in several countries. But unfortunately in Cameroon, we are not regulated. But if it's in a country where it's regulated, they don't have this issue. We find ourselves in Cameroon about this issue of scam because the system is not regulating the sector. So it's a little bit difficult for them to know who is the right person and who is not the right person. But the first thing which I will advise them is, if you want to travel abroad, get into an institution that is well established, that they have a physical location, they are registered and incorporated in the country, and they have proven themselves in one way or the other that they are reliable. Those things are the minimal factors that the students can check before they get committed to that process.
But sometimes they go online, the students just go online and then they just find pages that maybe have been boosted or promoted, and sometimes the students make mistakes and think that these pages or these people are credible. What do you have to tell them about choosing the right educational consulting firm online?
The social media is an open environment whereby all kinds of information is available. There is no reason why you should see something online and say this thing is fake or not. Whenever you see that information online, you need to approach the institution. Go to them, meet them physically. You don't have to trade with them online, just online, and transfer money to people you've never met. We, like us here, we are headquartered here in Yaoundé. When people call us, we advise them to come and meet us here so they can see what we are doing. It is not a one-man's business. So when you get here, these people are serious persons. So there is not reason why you should say, no, I have seen this information online, I cannot trust it. Don't make judgment on things you see online. Check, do due diligence, then before you can make your conclusion.
Mr. Marcellus Mbameng, I understand that so many students might want to, contact Globus Education Systems across Cameroon. And so you don't expect someone who is in the north to maybe travel to Yaoundé, or someone who is in the southwest to travel to Yaoundé, where your headquarters is. Can you help these students and their parents, to be able to trace where your offices are found in Cameroon?
Yes, you might not be in Yaoundé, but there are other ways of doing due diligence, not only going there physically. Firstly, even if you are in the north, you might have someone in Yaoundé to ask the person to go to the office and check and give you feedback. That's one way. We also have a branch office in Douala. Maybe even if at RV7 Hotel in Douala. We also have an office in Bafoussam at Hotel Carrefour Le Maire in Bafoussam. So if you are in Bamenda, maybe you can come up to Bafoussam to check the office and meet the representative. If you are even in the southwest, you can travel to Douala and go back same day to check if the information is right. If you are in the north, you can call someone in Yaoundé. There are other means of checking. Our office here in Yaoundé is at Carrefour Intendance at the Commercial Bank building on the 6th floor. So this is where we have been for the past 1 year.
Okay, Mr. Managing Director, we understand that you are involved in scholarships and sometimes want to know whether these scholarships are real, because the scholarships that Globus Education Systems are offering, we read online, sometimes on your website, 500 fully funded scholarships, 500 partially funded scholarships. We want to know whether these are real scholarships.
Yes, Elvis, one thing you will need to know is that Globus does not provide scholarships. We are not a scholarship providing organization. We are facilitators of scholarships programs around the world. So what we do is we represent thousands of more than 1,000 universities across the globe. They have scholarship programs, and when these scholarship programs come up, then we facilitate the process. We don't give scholarships. We have never represented ourselves as those who offer scholarship. We don't offer scholarships. When we say there are 5,000 scholarships available, or 200 scholarships available, or 300 scholarships available, we are simply saying that in our partner institutions that we represent put together, there's that number of scholarships that are available, and it is real and it is genuine. Like we were coordinating the fully funded scholarship program to India last academic year. The scholarship is not provided by Globus Education Systems. It's funded by the Indian government. As facilitators here in Cameroon, all we do is try to get interested students to get registered for the scholarship programs, and if they write the exams and they are selected, then they get the fully funded scholarship.
So what is the difference between a partially funded scholarship and a fully funded scholarship?
Yes, a fully funded scholarship is a scholarship whereby the tuition, the accommodation, and sometimes a monthly stipend is paid to the students. Some scholarships, fully funded scholarships, sometimes also cover even the cost of the ticket. But a partial scholarship is a certain percentage of discount on your tuition. Or sometimes it can be complete waiver on the tuition, then you need to take care of your accommodation and your living expenses. So that's the difference.
And what does it take to be a beneficiary of these scholarships?
Yes, when it is fully funded scholarship, it is all about what we call merit-based. It depends on your previous performance in the level that you are coming from. Let's say you had a bachelor's degree and you wanted to pursue a master's degree. So it would depend on your GPA, your score. So most often, if you have scored below 70 to 80%, it's difficult for you to get a fully funded scholarship. Same thing with the advanced level. Your percentage overall score is not supposed to be less than 75 to 80%. Some scholarships will even insist up to 90% before you can get a fully funded scholarship. But when it is partial scholarship, most often it is open to everyone that meets the requirements for admission for that level. Then they can get the partial scholarship.
Mr. Managing Director, the internet is free for everyone, but not everyone knows how to use the internet, meaning that there are people who might still see these opportunities but are unable to apply for these scholarships. Can Globus help beneficiaries or students, aspirants in the application process?
Basically, that is what we do here. I've set up a scholarship department inside Globus Education System. That department is headed by someone. There are at least 10 persons in my scholarship department here in my head office. They are in charge of assisting students making the applications on their behalf. The students don't need to do anything. All they need to do is submit their documents to Globus Education. All required documents in that process, then once we receive it, the team takes over. They don't need internet, they don't need anything. They just need to come to our office and submit the documents to us.
Can we have an idea of various destinations for studies?
Yes, we represent universities in the United States, in Canada, in France, in Switzerland, Ireland, the United Kingdom, France, India, Malaysia. All those destinations students can travel to for studies. We also have Guyana, where we send students for medical studies, as well as Antigua for medical studies. All these destinations our students can travel to based on their specific needs.
Mr. Director, does this mean Globus Education Systems does not have confidence in the African educational system?
We are not saying that the education system in Africa or in Cameroon is not good. We are saying that some countries have more advanced system of education than what we have here, especially in technological advancement. That fact cannot be disputed. So we are not looking for students to go and study literature, history out of Africa. We are looking for students who want to bring an impact into the continent. Students who want to go and study, become engineers, and sciences and so on. Those are the kind of students we are looking for. We are not saying that our education, the governments in various African countries have invested a lot in education. Likewise, like in Cameroon, you remember a few years ago we had just one state university. Today the country is having so many universities. The government has invested a lot in education, but there are some certain areas that are still lacking. So those areas is where we are trying to tap and get students to go and further their studies abroad and come back and create an impact into the economy.
Mr. Marcellus Mbameng, let's come back to what is happening in Globus. Those who are watching might be interested in partially or fully funded scholarships. Are there some partial or fully funded scholarships that could be of interest to the students?
Yes, we do have fully funded scholarships as we speak now for bachelor, masters, and PhD levels. In Asia, most of the Asian countries, we have fully funded scholarships now as we speak. But we do not have scholarships now that are until about January that will be launched for the USA or Canada. Those are the opportunities we have. We also have vocational programs that students also can benefit and travel to countries like Germany and Canada.
So, what are the advantages of studying abroad compared to studying in Africa?
Yes, as I said earlier on, it has to do with technological advancement in the science and engineering sector, what we call the STEM programs. STEM programs, the universities abroad have made a lot of advancement, a lot of research in those areas, and they provide cutting-edge technologies in those areas. So when these students go to study there, they come back with hands-on experience in the areas that they have studied. It is not just theoretical, but it is actually practical.
Let's talk about the poor people, because I'm a voice of the voiceless. I would like to understand someone from a very poor family who is living somewhere in Furawa, or maybe Kitakilaki, who is very intelligent, whose parents do not have money, but who has good grades, who wants to go abroad and further his studies. How can Globus Education be of help? And if the person doesn't have, the necessary resources, can Mr. Marcellus Mbameng personally intervene to help the person travel?
Yes, this notion of poor background and so on is relative. It is all in the mind. I come from a family whereby my parents also, I can say yes, they were an average Cameroonian family, but I also had classmates whose parents were selling vegetables in the market and were able to sponsor their children in the same kind of school that I went to. So it's all about a mindset. Parents are willing to sacrifice when they wish to. to do that. But that notwithstanding, I understand that we come from a system where finance is an issue. And this time around, I've just launched a special package for students who can travel to Germany for vocational training programs. These programs are programs that the students can learn something, and while they are learning, they are paying them a monthly salary. And under this vocational training program to Germany, Globus Education System is sponsoring the children, taking care of their cost of visa, their ticket, and everything for them. So the parents don't need to worry about money. So it's a special package, as you said, which I have designed for families that cannot meet up with finances in sponsoring their children abroad. So the vocational training program in Germany was launched about 3 weeks or a month ago, and we are encouraging families that cannot afford to sponsor children abroad to come under this program, because we are going to sponsor them in the whole process. Then they can repay back once they start working in Germany.
Can we have an idea of the fields?
There are just 4 fields that are available under these vocational training programs to Germany. As I said earlier on, vocational training are programs that the students are trained on the job, and when they come out, they will be issued a diploma. So we have the IT field, what we call information technology. We have mechatronics. Then we have hospitality industry and nursing. Those are the 4 areas that are available. And these 4 areas, you don't need to have a background in these areas. All what we need is for you to have advanced level, minimum advanced level, and be between the ages of 17 and 29 years. If you are between 17 and 29 years and you are interested in any of these fields, then you can go in for this program. You start by studying the German language here in Cameroon for 6 to 8 months, and once you have the German language qualification, we will sponsor you, and you can leave the country without spending any money, including the cost of your ticket.
Any collateral needed?
We are not asking for any collateral from the families. They just need to present a guarantor, and that guarantor is not going to present any collateral. You just need to say, my uncle is supposed to be the one to say, yes, I know this, I know this child, I am going to stand by him to guarantee that he's going to pay the money, or your father or your brother or your sister. We are not asking for any financial collateral or any landed property or anything. They just need to study the German language, sign an agreement with us that they are going to be able to repay us within a period of time.
So can we in the course of presenting Globus Education Systems, we forgot to talk about the expansion in Africa, and we understand that you are considering expanding to Kigali, Rwanda. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, it's not the expansion for Globus is no longer a dream, but it's a reality. We are already operating in Nigeria. We have been in Nigeria now for the past 2 years. We are in Burkina Faso. We are in Ghana, and we are already in Rwanda. So, and it's not going to stop there. The plan for Globus is to expand all over Africa. I'm currently training a team of directors that are going to be posted to serve in various African countries. So we are expanding to the African continent. Within the next 1 year, we have about 15 countries that have been listed for us to move into those countries.
With the suspension of PhD, can Globus be of help to frustrated students?
Yes, Elvis, as I mentioned, we represent over 1,000 universities globally. At the moment that we are speaking, we have fully funded scholarships for PhD students in more than 5 countries in Asia that the students can study for completely free. So Globus, at this point, we are calling on PhD students who want to study PhD, to approach us as soon as possible to grab this opportunity for PhD programs.
Talking about these PhD programs for students, there has been this controversy about PhDs. We seem to have many that are traveling out to study, but we don't seem to see any change. What do you think?
Elvis, I disagree with you to say that you are not seeing the changes. The changes are very evident. 10 years to 15 years ago, Yaoundé was not looking the way it's looking today. Yaoundé now, you see a lot of things happening in the city. All of these is thanks to the knowledge that people have acquired in several parts of the world, and they have come back to invest in this country. So the country is doing well. The education that they are going and acquiring and coming back into the country, the impact is there. You might not see it clearly all at once. It takes time. It takes time before you can see all of these things.
If you go to many of our institutions, you will discover that in the Department of History, we see about 2,000 students and very few in the Department of Technology. What is your advice on that?
Education is a choice. If I decide to study history, there's nothing wrong in studying history. Yes, there are some areas where we need to, the country to invest in, which they are not investing in terms of education. That I agree. For example, the vocational training. Vocational training is not very common in Cameroon, because vocational training is training the child on the job, on the skills that they like, so that within a short space of time they can start working in that industry and making money for themselves. That area, yes, we agree, this country is lacking in vocational training. But we cannot say history, studying history does not have any value. It has value. Our history must be kept. We have to, the children coming behind us are supposed to know about the history of their country and their world.
Mr. Marcellus, you have studied and worked in Europe and in the United States with a huge experience. You are now bringing your expertise to Africa to give back to the community. Would you kindly use this opportunity to advise young people on the kind of fields they can choose in this era?
Yes, Elvis, I studied in the United States of America, and I worked previously for a Chinese firm and for a US firm, and traveled around the continent. Whatever field students want to study in, they are free to study in those areas that they feel that it is their passion. Whatever you study in the world has value. Education is never wasted. But I think that when students study out of the country and they come back to their country, they have a certain advantage over those that have not traveled, in the sense that they have a global view of how things operate than when you were just around your home. So all fields are available, and I cannot start telling you that you must go and study this or you must go and study that. But I encourage students to study the STEM programs, science and technology engineering programs, because we need those programs in terms of development. Infrastructural development need seasoned engineers. We don't want to have buildings collapsing in the cities because they were not well constructed. So if they go out there and study, they will come back and design very laudable structural programs.
Have you considered mentorship classes for students? We have the impression that most of our students just go to school without really knowing what they want.
Elvis, that is a challenging one for me, but with time, I'm going to consider that. But last year, we did a campaign to all opposite schools in the English sector of Cameroon, whereby we were talking to students in the opposite class, encouraging them on opportunities available at their disposal in terms of studying abroad. But in terms of counseling, we still need some time to make progress in that direction.
What do you have to tell prospective students who want to visit Globus Education Systems?
Yes, my last word, first of all, is first of all like to say that the government of this country should try to regulate this sector, because I have a lot of complaints every day about people talking about scamming and so on. So even when you are genuine, people don't find it difficult to understand you. But if the sector is regulated, then wherever you go, you don't have problems. So the viewers out there, anything you hear about Globus, be it positive or negative, please talk with us and we'll find a solution to that problem.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
You're welcome.